afternoon, 9:09 a.m. Energies are high. Can you feel it? Excitement in the air. Stuff's coming up to be healed and cleared. You guys feeling it? In touch with your body today? Every cell? Everybody jumping on a little bit late today. There's a lot going on here at the retreat center. And yeah, sometimes I come on and always want to deliver something that's of value to people. And it's exciting. Sometimes you just got to wing it and trust. And so this is an interactive, healing, open support call. So if anybody has any questions, anything that's coming up for them, please feel free, feel confident, and have the courage to pop a question in. I'm just refreshing my page here. Hey, Tani, great to see you. Brisbane in the house. I love this technology. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, as many of you know, in northern Thailand at our Maladara retreat center here. And it's just incredible to be able to connect with people all over the globe. Hey, Nikki, great to see you. And so I would love for people to bring forward any questions of anything that's coming up for them right now as we move through this, what appears to be the final exciting phase of basically everything being brought into the light, you know? And so I have some notes here to get us going. One of my favorite topics, because this is really the first essential part of the waking up in the dream transformation, and that's healing, inner healing. So the way that we move through this is to ask ourselves, yeah, full steam ahead. Absolutely. Gentle, loving, kind, compassionate. Always checking in with ourselves and our body. That's how you can tell whether you're present, whether you're grounded. Maybe you're a little bit off balance. I woke up this morning and a lot of energy moving, a lot of energy. And so what I always do, my number one thing to do whenever I feel triggered or feel uneasy or feel off balance or feel fear or feel doubt, I go to my breath immediately. I take in some breaths and I just tune in to what I'm feeling. So Kristen's got a question. Thank you for your questions. I appreciate it. Can everybody hear me? How do we know when we're finished doing the work? Are we ever? Well, I don't know if we're ever finished, But the way that question is presented, I can totally relate to, because it's almost like on this journey, it almost feels like there's always something else. Can anybody relate to that? It's like, when do we get to celebrate? You know? When do we get the reward of everything that we've gone through? You know? And so this is a really great question. I appreciate you bringing it forward, Kristen. And then Nikki is like, yeah, fear, uncertainty. Yeah, these are all super valid, you know? And yeah, look at Jessica's sad energy. Okay, so this is really great. And the reason this is great, and the reason why we all owe all of you a big high five, and anybody that shows up on this call. Number one, because it shows that you're committed to growth. You know, even if you're not 100% sure, you know that you came here for a reason. And it's not just a struggle and to try and be good enough. You're already freaking amazing, or you wouldn't even be here. I hope you just heard that, all of you. You're all incredibly amazing, or there's no way you'd even be on this call. You'd be like, who is this guy? What's he talking about? Whatever comes up. And so let's talk about these energies. So we got, from Jess, we got sadness. From Nikki, we got fear. I woke up with some of that this morning. Uneasiness. So let's talk about this. And how do we know when we're finished? Okay. So one of the things that's really key is there is no finishing. We're eternal. We're eternal. And so I invite everybody on this call to tune in to their energy. And first and foremost, if we're feeling any fear, any sadness, any unease, any uncomfortableness, desiring that we would be finished, or at least that, can we complete and remove this feeling of uncomfortableness? Okay? So the number one key to doing that is to stop everything in the mind that's thinking about the sadness or feeling. It's not to feel it. It's to feel it fully. And the number one key for doing that is to stop and take a breath. Really tune in to how every cell in your body is feeling. Okay? When you breathe in slowly and deeply, and put a smile on it, even if you're pissed off, even if you're feeling fear, even if you have to force yourself, put a smile on it. Because what does that do? It lets your body know that you're safe. That clears a lot of the energy just by stopping and breathing. When you breathe and become in touch with yourself and let yourself know that you are safe in this moment right now, your body feels that. And by breathing and dropping down into our heart, that is a grounding process that stops this story from running, because it'll run forever, because it's running off of the energy that is asking to be grounded through us becoming present by getting in touch with our breath. This is it. Getting in touch with our breath. That calmed me down. Totally. And it always works. Which is why I do it all the time. Because I'm ampy. I got a lot of energy. And just to share with you, what do you think goes through my head oftentimes when I go to lead a call twice a week, or sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. Like, am I ready? What am I going to say? Do I say the same thing every time? Does anybody want to hear this? Well, I want to hear it because I'm reminding myself of it over and over and over. And if anybody benefits from it, then that's great. But it gives me an opportunity to meet those parts of Jeff that still feel fear, uneasiness, not good enough, not quite ready today. Some days I'm on fire. I'm just in it. Other days I'm like, well, I don't really think I want to do a show today because I'm not feeling empowered within myself. And then I go, well, man, you made a commitment to do a show twice a week or more. So if you're not feeling empowered right now, what story are you believing that I know is a lie? And it's okay. I got to work through it. So what do? I go to my breath every time. Because if I don't, the mind's not going to be able to figure it out because the mind created it. The mind created it based on the uneasiness energy that I was feeling from whatever I thought. Okay, I'm not feeling empowered today. Last night I had some tumultuous dream time. I woke up feeling a little bit off balance. So I start my day off every morning breathing while my head is still on the pillow. So if any of you have any questions, anything you want to clear, anything you would like to heal, let's do it. And when I use that word heal, that's a big trigger word. So let me be very, very clear. I do not heal anyone else. I heal Jeff. I assist people in mirroring them, holding space, in using the powerful tools contained in the book, Waking Up in the Dream, and the course, and the session work that we do, to get people to go a little bit deeper in a very safe space, to feel okay, to feel what they're feeling, to cry, to get upset, to move it, to forgive, or to speak how they feel about whatever somebody did to them. This is healing. Healing is all about feeling fully. And one of the biggest pieces of healing is simply being willing to forgive. If you're not willing to forgive someone, then what that really says is, well, 2 things. Yeah, the wound is deep. Okay, we know that. We know that. But it was part of our soul contract, even if we don't remember it. So just remain open. Because the number one thing is, you are an incredibly, magnificently powerful being. You came here for this specific time in history. All signs are pointing to this. People are waking up. Everything is being exposed to come up and be cleared in the light. So, if there is someone that you cannot forgive currently, or yourself for something that you are ashamed of. I've done so many things that I was ashamed of and stupid stuff, and just because I was wounded or I was triggered or I was drinking alcohol or I just didn't have the tools. It's okay. The same for you. There's nothing that's not forgivable. Nothing. It's all part of the journey. And when we forgive, then we can get the gift. And then we can hold space and compassion for other people where before we would just judge them or make them feel more ashamed. And the whole cycle would continue. It's really quite easy to heal when you're ready. And the only reason somebody wouldn't be ready is because the ego doesn't want to let go of that story because it's been feeding off of it for decades in decades and decades in many cases. And it doesn't know who it would be if it let that go. Okay, that's all it is. It's just a scared little ego that needs love. I intend that this is dropping in for anybody. It's dropping in for me. I can never hear this too much. Because as much clearing as I've done, as much forgiveness as I've done, and as much as I do with people every week on calls, once in a while the memory will pop up. Once in a while, we're just not feeling empowered. It's okay. The key is, how quickly can we use these tools to drop in, go, okay, there's a little piece, smile, because I love myself. And I love every one of these trillions of cells that have been loving on me since I've been in the womb. And every one of these trillions of cells is consciously aware, and it's listening to every single thought, every single word, and the emotion that I put on top of those. And it either creates more love and a higher vibration of magnetic attraction for like frequencies, more love, more magnet, more abundance, more synchronicities in my life, or it could be pulling me down for a little while. So the key is to learn to track the frequency of your moment-to-moment existence. It's that simple. It's the only game in town, conscious awareness. How am I feeling right now? And if I'm feeling triggered, I'm in judgment, or I'm feeling low, what are the keys? Take a breath. Even if you're pissed, okay, I'm pissed, but I'm going to take a breath because these are the tools. All right? Cool, whatever. Just love on yourself and take that breath. And if one breath doesn't stop the story from running, if it's a little heavier trigger, then take another one and drop down into your heart. Your heart is your magnetic attraction center. It's 1,000,000 times more powerful than your mind. So, does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Does anybody have anything they would like to clear? Does anybody have anything they would like to heal? And I'll tell you, anybody that shows up and asks a question or gets authentic on these calls, it opens the doorway for so many other people, because a lot of people sit back and watch these. They may not comment. It may be new to them. They may not feel safe to show up and say that they're afraid, or that they feel scared, or that they feel less than, or that they're upset because they got molested or abused or whatever. It's okay. But the people that do show up and ask the questions, they open up a huge safe portal for everybody else to feel accepted and loved and safe. So, anybody, come on. All right. It's all right. If everybody's feeling grounded and cleared and healed, and they've forgiven everything, including themselves, then we've got 14 incredible magnetic beings on this call. Okay, Stephanie's got something. Thank you, Stephanie, for being a rock star. Okay, so Stephanie is being wonderfully authentic here and saying, I feel anxious and tired. Okay, beautiful. The first thing is noticing what it is. And the reason why this is so powerful, and thank you, Stephanie, for showing up authentically and vulnerably. You're a rock star. High five. Love you. I know what it's like. I used to sit back when I would go to 3-day dreaming weekends with Don Miguel Ruiz and the small group of Toltecs in San Diego. And I would sit back And I'd be feeling, oh man, I really want to clear something, or I want to, I want to ask my question, but I'm afraid. And I'm afraid of what other people are going to think of me. And I did that for a long time. Then I finally just went, fuck. The pain of sitting back and holding on to this is worse than anything else. So I finally just started asking my questions, and people would come up to me afterwards and go, I'm so glad you asked that question. I was feeling the same thing. And so this is big, okay? And the reason why I love doing these a couple times a week is because to have a safe space where people are holding space for everybody else and cheering everybody on is priceless. Sometimes we don't have that where we live. Sometimes our family doesn't understand, or our friends. Okay? So, number one, let's look at the first word, anxious. Anxious feels like this to me, anxiety. I know this one really, really, really well. I've had anxiety my whole life. It's been part of my ability to produce musically, artistically, and to really go deep, but it's been a reoccurring theme for me. So, what do we do when we feel it? Number one thing, stop and take a breath. A breath is the antidote to everything. It's the antidote to fear. It's the antidote to calming. It's the antidote to presence and clarity of mind. It amplifies your magnet. It allows every one of these trillions of cells in your body to relax and to feel safe. So let's everybody on this call right now take a deep, slow breath, or a few of them, smile, and send a bunch of love to Stephanie and everybody else on this call and everybody else on the planet that may be feeling fear, anxiety, doubt. They're scared. They're being taunted with getting a toxic vaccine, or their family doesn't understand, whatever it is. Right now, in this moment, every slow breath that we take is actually positively altering and calming the frequency of the planet and beyond. How magnificent is that? Because it's all connected. The reason why I wrote this book is because I wrote it for me. I wrote the specific steps whenever I feel triggered, in judgment, less than, in lack, anything. I go to these tools and I go right into it and I drop in, and it works every single time. This is why I love doing this, because I just keep telling myself over and over and over to repeat back to this. And the next thing you know, the time that you spend in a trigger or feeling less than or feeling worried or feeling in lack, you just start to clear it like that. You just will not tolerate it any longer. Because if you're feeling down, that means that your vibrational frequency, which is a magnet, can only attract more of those like frequencies. We talk about this, like each one of these is a timeline. It's an event. Abundance, amazing relationships, magic, synchronicities. Or it could be, way over here in the trees, it could be attracting more of what you really don't prefer. So when we begin to track and get playful, this is the key. Be playful. And everybody that goes through my course journey, they train themselves as soon as they awaken every single morning, before those 50 to 80,000 thoughts start running. They stop with their head on the pillow and they go, all right, I know when I consciously create my day every single morning, first thing, that I am setting the frequency of my inner magnet to attract more of everything that I envision. And I smile, I love on all of my cells, which is actually super healing and balancing to the body. And then I envision, and I have them do this every single day, every single thing that they are desiring to see in their reality, their vibrating quantum field. And they see it and feel it is already here now. That's why we're smiling, because I know that people are showing up. People reach out every week to journey. Abundance shows up. It didn't used to. Magical people show up from all over the world. Hey, I want to work on this project. Hey, it just happens. When I go out for my daily rides, I meet wild jungle dogs. We have a connection. They feel my frequency. It's not because I'm so great. It's because I'm in my heart and I set my intention every single morning. So I hope you got a piece of that, Stephanie, and you can come back and watch this at any time. They're on my page and they're on my YouTube channel, Portal to Awakening. Anytime you feel a less than thought, a judgment, a trigger, stop. Drop in and take a few breaths. What that breath does, it stops the trigger in the story from running. Here's a perfect example. You hear people sometimes say, I'm having a really bad day. When I mirror them or get to talk to them or do a session, usually what it comes down to is they got triggered. They had a judgment or a reaction, or they went into fear and they didn't use the tools to stop, breathe, let their body know that they're safe, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to teach me? Okay? When we ask, what is this trying to teach me? And we stop the story from running, we don't end up having a bad day. We had one triggered moment and then we breathed into it and we smiled and we're like, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Okay. So I got triggered. I'm still possibly holding a wound from the past. It's okay. These tools work and they work every single time. So if anybody has any questions about that to clarify, please ask. And I'm going to go through these questions here real quick. Okay, Kelly, I'm exhausted learning to listen to my body and slow down. Okay, cool. I love your honesty. I can relate. So how about if we turn that around to say, I am excited that I'm learning to listen to my body and slow down. Okay? How's that feel? And your ego may not like it. I don't fucking like it, Jeff. No problem. But what I'm getting at is, okay, again, our words are very powerful because they create spells. Many of you have heard me talk about this before. Okay? Every one of our trillions of cells are listening to every single thought and word that we think, whether we're aware of it or not. They may be running underneath the surface. It may be a subconscious story of I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Nobody's going to love me because of what I did during my childhood or whatever. Okay? So this is really key. Kelly says, I'm exhausted. So that's giving the signal to every one of her cells that they're exhausted. Okay? It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. But this is the key. This is the key to the waking up in the dream process. Beginning to track the frequency of every thought, every word, and the emotion that we put behind them. So when we say I'm exhausted, it's honest. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But we don't want to be telling ourselves that because they're listening. So I invite you, Kelly, to get excited. It's okay for you to be exhausted right now. But using these tools of your breath to listen to your body, and when you breathe in, if you feel a little exhaustion or anything, smile. That relaxes your body. And then ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because if you're exhausted, you're either thinking too much or you've taken on too much. And your body's asking you to slow down. And if you don't slow down, your body will create something to force you to slow down. So thank you for sharing this. I intend you've taken away something from this. Creating your reality first thing every day while you're still lying in bed and getting excited. I'm excited. Even if you're not feeling great, even if you've got a health issue, then I'm going to love my body more every day. I'm going to watch what I put into my body. I'm going to bless everything that I put into my body. Am I eliminating sugars from my body? Am I putting in healthy things to my body? Am I getting out and am I grounding my bare feet on Mother Earth so that she can ground my body? Just simple stuff, but get playful. Get playful. Are you getting playful every day? It's really, really key. Okay, so I see some Me Too's in here, which is great. I'm still learning to observe and not react. Yeah, perfect. One of the number one gifts out of this book and the step-by-step process is dismantling the automatic reactor. We're taught to be automatic reactors. The whole system of 3D is set up to trigger us into being automatic reactors, which keeps us recycling the same judgments, wounds over and over and over. So this is really great, Tani. Becoming the conscious observer. Going through the process has you begin to track every day and keep track of. You may have heard me talk about this before. You actually fill out a sheet, a PDF sheet at night, and you track how many times you reacted or judged or felt less than. You're not going to catch them all. Well, I'll tell you what, this is the most life-changing exercise I've ever found out of the over $100,000 I've spent on weekend seminars, workshops, coaches. Yeah, we can all talk spiritual and act like we got it together. But if we're still getting triggered into judgment or we feel less than, that's present in our magnetic field. It's affecting our vibration, our frequency. And if we're still holding that, then the universe is going to magnetize that, or we're going to magnetize that to us. So it's just a matter of getting playful, becoming the conscious observer. And when we do have a reaction, that's when we stop immediately. We take a breath. We go, oh man, I just got triggered. Whew. That really pisses me off. Okay. Well, that means you're still holding some juice from a past memory or a past wound of something either somebody did to you or something that you experienced that's causing you to be reactive when that same thing shows up to remind you of it. So it's good. It's uncomfortable, but on the soul's journey, the beauty of it is the soul will keep showing us the same thing until we get it. Well, now's the time to get it. We're all here. The energies are coming into the planet. Things are being amplified, and we have the opportunity to clear and heal faster than ever before. So yes, becoming the conscious observer is the greatest thing that we will ever do. It's the only game in town. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm glad that it's resonating. Nikki, thank you. You're amazing. Okay, so here's one from Cece. Thank you for the questions, everybody, because this is key. Because I don't just want to talk all the time. I mean, I share the tools, but this is valuable. So Cece says, how can I be brave enough to speak my truth? Great question. People look at me like I am the enemy if I say anything opposite of the mainstream. Okay, I love this. This is so key right now because people are being brainwashed into, no, just brainwashed, watching the television. And if they speak out against anything that's wrong, the media is teaching people to shame us. It's okay. Number one, don't take anything personally. When people react, it's just their own wounds. Okay? You know what's true for you. So here's some of the things that I learned. Because, I was afraid to speak my truth. There was a time when I wouldn't get on and do a live like this. I'm like, what are people going to think? I don't have my shit together. You know? Am I going to be able to do it? Are they going to laugh at me? Well, here's what I found. Nobody's going to look at you like you're the enemy unless you're holding that frequency of fear of, I hope they don't look at me like I'm the enemy. No. When you speak your truth, you go, I speak my truth from the heart. I don't need to project it or force it on anybody. Nobody needs to agree with me. And I attract the right people into my life and relationships of people that are on that same frequency. I don't need to fight. I don't need to convince anybody because you can't. If people are set in their ways, they're not going to be open-minded. But the beauty of it is that you and me and the other people on this call are going to magnetically attract the perfect people into our life and our relationships. Whoops. Sorry. By the frequency that we hold. So when you are solid in your frequency, even if you're shaking a little bit, then what do you do? What do you do if you don't feel grounded? The breath. You come back to the breath. You let your body know you're safe. And you smile. And then the beauty is you don't even really have to speak your truth. You just own it. You don't have to prove it to anybody else out there. This is a really great question. This is really big because everybody goes through this. So if you say anything opposite of the mainstream, which you know is a 100% lie, 100%, it's completely inverted, then choose who you want to share things with. If you know that people are set in their way and you know that if you don't agree with them that they're going to get triggered, then I don't hang out with those people. And you may say, well, they're my family and I live with them. Okay, cool. So then you make an agreement that we're just not going to talk about that because we have different opinions and we can love each other and be around each other without having to agree with each other. That's called being sovereign and allowing others to be how they want to be. I don't let anybody pour negative energy on me. I don't tolerate it. I don't tolerate anything less than love. That's one of my mantras. Anything less than love is not acceptable in my field. If you want to believe what you want to believe, that's your sovereign right. But you don't have a right to force that on me and try and make me believe it. And if you really believed it and were comfortable, then you wouldn't need to try and project it onto anybody else, because you would be comfortable in your own beliefs. Got it? So, number one, you don't need to speak your truth unless you're confident in enough. I can walk into any room, I can walk into any store with no mask on. I'm not saying because I'm so cool. There is one store in Chiang Mai here in Thailand where I had to wear a mask for 3 minutes the other day because you just can't get in without it. So I limit where I shop and what I do because I don't do that to my body. I don't harm my immune system. So you make the right choices and you surround yourself with people that are on the same frequency. And the more you hold your frequency in love and kindness, you'll start to attract more people that are on that same wavelength. It's the way the hologram works. You don't even need to try. So thank you for that. I intend that that resonates. One of my favorite humans. Yeah, brother, you are one of my favorite humans. Thank you, Paolo. So kind. Okay, so if anybody else has any questions. Okay, Samantha, you can feel the frequencies, yeah. Yeah, frequencies don't lie. You've just got to be clear onto whether you're projecting, like when somebody asks a question about, what did, let me go back here. Yeah, what did Cece say? How can I be brave enough? People look at me like I'm the enemy. Yeah, well, don't imagine that people think you're the enemy. Don't imagine that or you're going to attract that. Imagine that people love you and the like-minded people love being around you. And if there aren't any around, then you just stay in your own lane. Go hang out with the animals, the birds, the trees, the dragonflies and the butterflies. Yeah, you can feel it. Oh, there's my brother, Stephen. How do we transcend fear? Breath. Breath. Let's do it right now. What I love to do when I do it, I put my hand on my heart and I put one hand on my solar plexus because that's where the uneasy feelings feel. And since I know that every one of my trillions of cells is listening and responding to my thoughts, my words, and the emotion that I put on top of that, I just start loving on my body and I breathe. And I'm like, wow, that's a heavy, heavy fear or anxiety. And I smile. Why? Why do I smile? Because I do this every single day. And I know that when I smile, it lets all of my cells know that everything's okay. So I breathe and I smile. And if I'm anywhere near a tree or the earth, I take my flip-flops off and I get my feet on the ground. Another great thing is when you're in the shower, all that love, that gift of that water from Mother Earth is coming down on you. And I imagine it just purple, rainbow, whatever, just loving on me, loving on me, loving on me. And I tune into my heart and I breathe. And if you will fully breathe and allow yourself to come into your heart, I guarantee you 1,000% that it will stop the fear and the anxiety from running. But you got to let go and you got to trust. And sometimes it takes more than one breath. It's okay. No big deal. What a gift, though, because when we breathe in and we get grounded, now our magnet is magnetizing powerful force of the heart, which is the highest frequency there is. Being loving, feeling grounded, being in gratitude. And then you can ramp it up from there to my favorite one, excitement. That's the highest magnetic frequency. I'm excited, man. I know that amazing things are coming into my life. I know today, when I step out of this room at the retreat center, that synchronicities are going to be popping. I know there's going to be birds and animals connecting and singing and talking everywhere. I know that there's going to be wonderful conversations. I know it. Why? Because I claim it. So thank you for bringing that up, brother. I love you. Stephen went through the course. He's amazing and a great guy to know. So if you want to know another great person, reach out. Make friends with these people. You know? Yeah, the shower, the water, it's alive. It's such a huge gift. Yeah, excitement is the highest frequency. If you're not excited, this is one of my go-to mantras. If I'm not excited right now, why? I must be believing a lie, or there's some type of something going on in my belief system that is not allowing me to be the magnetic frequency that I really am without the story. So this is really key, really, really key. And yeah, swimming, grounding, super key, super key. So if anybody has any other questions, please ask them. If you're sitting back and going, man, there's something that I'd really like to clear, but I'm afraid to ask it, or, whatever, this is safe here. There's nothing but compassion here. Everybody that's hung on this call this long, these are people that are here to clear this stuff and to create the new earth. We're here to do it, and we're doing it. And this is the time to be excited, So at the end of every call, for those of you that have been on here before, and for anybody that may be new, I love to take all of our collective energy, breathe into our hearts, ramp up our frequency, and then blast that out to the whole planet. Because we are affecting it. And the frequency that is being generated right now with the 15 people on this call, that's what I'm showing on my screen. I don't know if it's correct, but it tends to be. This is affecting the planet. So I want to thank everybody for being on this call. And I want to let you know, if you don't already, that I journey with 4 or 5 people every month. And I take them one-on-one through this process, the tools in the book and the course and the PowerPoint trainings that I've created that get you to see the programs very quickly, get you to clear and heal anything that you've been holding on to, going back to childhood, going back to past lives. And it is the most powerful transformational process that I've found anywhere on the planet. And I don't say that with an ego. I paid tens of thousands of dollars over the last 25 years. And this is the fastest process that I know of. So as of today, which it's June 8th, where I'm at, I'm in Thailand. It's Tuesday morning. There's 2 spots left. So if anybody is interested in this and you've been wanting to do this, send me a private message or follow the link there and go check it out. Check out what people say about it. There's a link down there scrolling at the bottom, Portal to Awakening. It's really easy to find. And this is it. This is the only game in town, And again, doing the inner healing is actually really, really easy. It's just that we've been taught that it's not. And it's like the last place anybody wants to go. because they call it the dark night of the soul. That's bullshit. It's actually the golden doorway into your freedom. And I've never journeyed with anybody that it took them more than 1 or 2 talks to clear something, ever. Yeah, you might still have the memory of a wound, but all you've got to do is forgive and feel it. And yeah, I get on calls with people and we cry. We have tears. Maybe we pound out anger on a mattress with our forearms. And then it's released. You don't have to carry this stuff with you for the rest of your life. I'm telling you, I experience it with people every single day of the week, almost every month. The people that go through this course. It's truly life-changing. So, yeah. Hey, Elizabeth, great to see you. Thanks, Stephen, for showing up, brother. Love you. Always great connecting. So, if anybody has any final questions and you've been wanting to ask it, but you haven't yet, now is a good time. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little group meditation. We're going to amplify the field big time. So I'm going to turn on my microphone here. And everybody, do your best to tune in to, whoop, check. Sorry, people. Okay. I got a little bit of noise in one of my cords here. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tune into our hearts. We're going to really feel anything that we have still not yet forgiven, let go of, cleared, or healed. Okay? It's really easy. Just feel it. Whatever comes up for you. If it's tears, then feel them. Okay? Sorry. I got some noise here. Okay. So if it's tears, feel them fully. If it's somebody else to forgive, love on them. Thank them. Ask yourself, what is the gift? And then, first and foremost, put your hand on your hearts and love on every one of those cells in your body. Really give yourself this gift for every single thing your cells have done for you since you've been in the womb. See how deeply you can really love on yourself as we do this. And then I'm going to ring the bell and we're just going to blast it out to everybody on the planet. So thank you again for everybody for showing up and holding this space this entire time. You're deeply loved and admired. So much good is coming your way. You have no idea. So here we go. Hands on your hearts. Feel it as deeply as you can. Love for yourself and the entire planet. Feel it. Now let's send it out to the entire planet. it. Love you guys. Thank you for being on this call. If anybody has any questions, my door is open. Thank you for everybody that shares these transmissions with others that you think may help them. 11 people, 22 comments. I love the numbers. Yeah, just get excited, be excited. Hold that frequency. Create your reality every day, every morning. And then if you want to set alarms and really magnetize your preferred reality into you, then reset every day. Set those 15 alarms on your phone to go off every hour and just check in for a minute. Re-amplify, reset your magnet, your heart frequency, your intention, your self-love. Envision anything you desire is already here now, and smile, knowing that if it's for you, it'll show up because it matches your frequency. It's wonderful. It's amazing. What a gift. I love you all. Have an incredible day and catch up soon. Many blessings.